All right, morning. This is grade 12 maths, and it's Mamu with Jarvis. So we were in our last class able to handle 15 questions, OBJ questions, and I've always given a very high score to NECO in terms of their exams. I love their questions, either at JS level, SS level. I would always say this: I love their exams because they're very technical exams. The exams usually test how smart you are as a student. So let's see how we survive with today's iteration of the questions. So let's go to question 16. And in question 16, we are told to find the principal which amounts to what? Not very clear, but I would think that this is so we should find a principal which amounts to, I think it's the amount is 72,000 naira, I presume, so 2,800, and then the rate is 3%, and the time is 4 years. Now remember that amount is essentially principal plus what? Interest. So here we're going to apply our knowledge of change of subject formula. So the principal will be the amount what? Minus the what? Interest. So what is the amount? The amount is given. What is the interest? So let's try to figure out what the interest is. The interest okay, maybe we should take another approach. Sometimes in solving problems, you want to look at, okay, let's take another approach. I think I'm seeing something different. I'm seeing a different approach. Remember that the interest is actually principal times time times rate over 100. Is that not? So with this knowledge, I can write this to be what? Principal plus principal time rate, this over 100. Over 100, so that will give you what? Principal into 1 plus over 100. So that's what I wanted to get out. I started a particular approach and I discovered something. I decided, no, that approach might not help me out. So what you see here is that the principal will be equal to what? A over what? 1 plus TR over 100. What is the amount? 72,800. What is the time? 4. What is the rate? 3 over what? 100. Are we seeing that? So that will give you 72,800 divided by 1 plus 12 over what? 100. What does that give you? 72,800 divided by 1.12. Are we seeing that? Now, if I want to play with this, I'm going to have 72,800 times 100 to help this come up, divided by 100 and what? 12. So I can also do this by saying 728 divided by 112 times 100 times 100. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to reduce my what I'm going to be working with. Now, these things comes with practice, and it comes with a certain kind of mindset. I told us that my mindset is I don't use calculator, so I look for every way possible to avoid the calculator. So I'll cancel with 4. I'm going to get what here? 28. Okay, maybe I should have, okay, cancel with 4, no problem. I cancel with 4 here. I'm going to get 180. I think 182, if I'm right. 182. I'll cancel with 4 here again, or with 2, I'm going to get 14. I cancel with 2, you are going to get 91. I'm going to get 91. After that, I can cancel with 7, I'm going to get 2. Cancel with 7, I'm going to get 13. So that will give me 13 over 5, over 2 rather, times 10,000. So that will be 6.5 times 10,000. And my answer should be 65,000. And that will be what? 65,000. And that answer is C. So you see that you really don't need a calculator. What you need to do is to carefully look at the problem and apply all the rules you have studied in maths, knowing what to do. This is where maths becomes beautiful. So that's what the answer would look like following this technique. You discover that they have deliberately placed things there for you to be able to cancel out. I started by applying decimals, and you see my arrangement. Just kept rearranging till I had the final answer. And apply this. If you have that mindset on it, you discover that it becomes very easy for you to handle the problem. So that's for 16. So what about 17? In question 17, you are told to solve the simultaneous equation 3x minus 5y equal to 5, and you have what? X plus 10y equal to 4. I always tell my students that the best approach to simultaneous equation is the method of elimination. So I will pick, the rule here says that pick the one with the least LCM. So I multiply it by 1, I multiply it by what? 3. So I'm going to get 2 new sets of equations, which will be what? 3x minus 5y equal to 5. And this will be 3x plus 10y plus 30y, sorry about that, equal to 12. So what do? We can now eliminate what? X by subtraction. And I'll tell students also this. You don't need to always subtract from, say, top minus bottom. No, you can actually say bottom minus top. The most important thing is that you have to be consistent. If you're taking bottom, you take bottom all through. Now, this minus this will give me 0. 30y minus 5 will be like saying 30y minus 5y. So you can see what I'm doing. It's equal to 12 minus what? 5. This will give me what? 30y plus 5y equal to 7. And 35y will be equal to what? 7, which means that y is equal to 1 over 5. Because I'm dividing both sides by 35. So y will be equal to what? 1 over 5. All right, so that takes care of that. But we're just getting y. So how do we get x? How do we now get x? So to get x, we put y equal to 1 over 5 in 3x minus 5y equal to 5. There's a little alteration I've made to modern day math solving. Prior to now, you are told put in equation 1, equation 2. I personally have discovered that for some students, it does confuse them. So what do? Just take the equation you are making the substitution in, and you still get your full marks. See, the most important thing in math is your expression. You're communicating. As long as you communicate properly, you get your full marks. So this will give us 3x minus 5 into 1 over 5 equal to 5. 3x minus 1 is equal to 5, and 3x is equal to 5 plus 1. 3x is equal to 6. Divide both sides by 3, and x is equal to what? 2. So with that said, our answer will be what? A, which will be x equal to 2 and y equal to 1 over 5. And that's option A. All right. So that takes care of question 17. So let's move to 18. Let's move to 18. In question 18 is testing your knowledge of compound interest. And for compound interest, the amount, we calculate the compound interest if 120,000 is borrowed for 3 years. Now, the amount is equal to 1, the principal, times 1 plus what? Arrow, which is the interest, all raised to the power of what? N, where N is number of years in question. So this is what you need to take note of when you're handling compound interest. So what do? Once you get this, remove it from what? The principal, and that will give you what your interest will be. Is that understood? All right, so we need to get the amount before we can do any other thing. Now, the principal in this question is 120,000. 1 plus, what is the rate? The rate must be expressed as a percentage as a function of the decimal. So you are told 16%. That 16% will be what? 0.16. All raised to the power of what? 3 years. So that will be equal to 120,000 times 1.16 all raised to the power of 3. Now, students will ask me, sir, how am I going to manipulate this? That's where you need your 4-figure table. And I have one close to me here. So you go to your cube. I hope we have cube here. Some tables don't have cube. So if I don't have cube here, then you would have to finish it up yourself. Okay, I don't have cube here. So let's see what the value would be. 1.16 all raised to the power of 3 will be what? All right, so this may just be one of those exceptional questions where your calculator becomes very helpful, but you can also beat the calculator to this. I can use some method of approximation and I'll get my answer, but let's just, I have a calculator as a backup. I'll use a calculator to solve, and I'm also going to show you how you can mentally do this and get your answer correct. All right, so you have 1.16 raised to the power of 3, and that will give you 120,000 times 1.561. Always try to keep your figures in 4 figures. All right. Now multiply that with 120,000, and that will give you 187,307 naira 52 kobo. So that's what we expect the amount to be. Now the interest is equal to the amount minus the principal. So what do? Do your relevant subtraction. 187,307.52 minus 120. Some people think that this method of math is useless. This writing like this is not useless. And this will give you what? 67,307.52. Now, do you have an answer in that neighborhood? Yes, we do. The answer we have will be what? C. Now, I said I was going to show you how you can manipulate this. If it will be an exam setting, how I can check to know what my answer will be. See what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this to be 1.2. I'll take this to be a value that is close to 1.2. Now, if I multiply 1.2, 1.2 will give me times, that's 1.44 times another 1.2 should give me something in the neighborhood of this one is 1.4. Now see another trick. 1.4 times 1.2 means 1 and what? A portion of this, so it will be 1.44. Please watch carefully. Plus what? 0.2 of this will be what? That will be 2, like say 288. So that would have given me 1.7 something. Now 1.7 something times this, I could factor that one out. Maybe I use even a 5. Will give me something in the neighborhood of 180. So when I'm checking my option, I already have an idea of what range it will be. Now be very careful. You discover that this answer is also in the option. You were not asked to look for the amount. You were asked to look for the interest. So be careful. You really need to, when it comes to commercial, we call it commercial arithmetic, you really must read your questions very, very well. Know when you have to look for the amount and know when you have to look for the interest. So that's that for that. Because an OBJ, I can actually manipulate my way through and get the answer. But in all honesty, this is one of those questions where if you have a calculator handy with you, you are at a better position. So that's the formula and that's what you're expected to do. I'll give you a minute or two to take care of this. Trusting maybe you may. Okay, so now we go to question 19. Question 19 says, find the value of x for which x squared minus 4 over 2 into x plus 5 is undefined. This is a topic we call algebraic fractions. This is a topic we call what? Algebraic fractions. Now, what does it mean for a fraction not to be defined or an expression not to be defined? It means that the expression is equal to what? 1 over 0. I see that. That's what it means. But more importantly, like I teach students, what's the implication? The implication of this setup is that equate the denominators. Let that sink. Let me not bore you with all the other funny details. What's the summary of this when you see this? Equate the denominators. So what this means will be that 2 into x plus 5 will be equal to 0. And that means that x plus 5 will be equal to 0 and x will be equal to minus 5. That's it. So without wasting time, that's the answer. So you see that this one, in less than, any student that knows what he's doing, in less than 5-10 seconds, you're out with this problem. There are questions that are very cheap. You nail those ones very fast. All right, so our answer will be E. Now look at question 20. For what value of k is the expression 4x squared minus 8x plus k is what? A perfect square. How do you get this? Now, what you need to do is to pick this one out. So the first thing you need to do is to do this. 4 into x squared minus what? 2x. Are you seeing that? That's what you're going to have. So what do you do here? Now, to get this one, what would you add here? You're going to add what? To get this expression, first of all, the unknown, now look at it. There's something hidden here. Although you're giving plus k, this is the k you need to find to make this a perfect square. Is that not? But you need to start by looking at what you need to do in here. Now, C, which is something I'm introducing. C, which is something I'm introducing, will be equal to C, which is something I'm introducing, will be equal to half b squared. Half b squared. So what is b? Is 2. Is that not? So this will give me what? Sorry, I think I got that wrong. It is what? Half of b all squared. So what is that? That will give me what? Half of 2 everything all squared. So that will be 1. Because 2 cancel 2 will be 1, and 1 squared will be equal to 1. So that takes care of this part of C. So then this expression will now be what? So what you have will now be 4 into x squared minus 2x plus, what is that half, plus what? C, which I've gotten. So So this will be 4 into x squared minus what? 2x plus 1, which I have gotten there. This 4 now multiplies everything in. I'm going to have x squared minus, 4x minus 8x plus 4. So what must I add to this to make it a perfect square? That k will now be equal to what? That k will be equal to, so k should be equal to 4. K should be equal to, so that's the way this one is solved. Some students will just solve and just take a half of this and think the answer will flow out like that. No, sometimes it doesn't flow out like that. You group it like this. Then from here, you take care of getting C. So this, you need to get what C will be in this expression. After you've gotten C, you then multiply through, and then your final answer becomes K. So K is actually equal to what? 4C, which will now be 4 times 1, and that is 4. So the answer to that question will be E. And see, the students marked 32 here. No, that can't be correct. All right, so look at question 21. Question 21 is testing your knowledge of logical reasoning in sets. It's essentially logical reasoning in sets. Now, given the statement X, she is intelligent, she's serious, and Y, she is brilliant. It says, which of the following logical connectivities describe the statement, she is neither serious nor what? Brilliant. She is neither serious nor brilliant. The correct answer obviously is B. Now, neither, prime, and. So that neither nor is a conjunction that suggests and. Is a conjunction that does what suggests and. So in this setup, the answer will be what? X is X prime and what? Y prime. So that will give you what? B. So the correct answer there will be B, right? I want to trust you're finding these reviews very interesting, and I'm trusting that it will help you to build momentum. Maybe areas you've learned that you didn't really grasp so well, you'll be able to understand them better now. Let's go to 22. 22 is testing your knowledge of graphs. Now, the equation given is what? 2x minus 5y equal to 10. Now, the question says find the gradients and the y-intercepts of the line 2x minus 5y equal to 10. Now, let me shock you. Now, the general formula, the general form of any linear equation is y equal to mx plus c. Please watch carefully. Now, m is the slope or gradient, and c is the vertical or y-intercept. So, in answering this question, your first objective is to rewrite this equation to look like this. So, I'll start by doing this. I'll have 2x minus 5y equal to 10. So, what do I do first? I'll move this way and bring this way. 2x minus what? 10 is equal to what? 5y. I'll rewrite. 5y will be equal to 2x minus 10. So what do I do next? I'll divide the individual components of the equation by 5. So So that will mean that y will be equal to 2 over 5x minus 2. Now the question says, find the gradient. Gradient will be equal to what? 2 over 5. The next thing you're asked, find the y-intercept. Y-intercept will be equal to -5, -2. And that's the solution to the problem. Gradient is 2 over 5, and the y-intercept is what? -2, and that option will be B. And that's all. Nothing more than that. It's nothing. That's just it. So 23 says x squared minus 2x minus 3 equal to 0. Now, this question you can solve by factorization. I've often watched students always wanting to use completing the square or formula. You only use completing the square or formula when factorization has failed. And you can actually test if a problem can be factorized. There's a formula for it. Now, if I say the formula to test is D is equal to B squared minus 4AC. If I do this, and I'm able to get a value that is a perfect square, this question can be factorized. What is B? B is what? -2. Are we together? All squared. What is A? A is what? 1. The coefficient of what? Remember that the general form of any, quadratic equation is given as y equal to what? Ax plus bx plus what? Ax squared plus bx plus c. So what is A in this context? 1. Which is coefficient of this. What is B in this context? -2. What is C in this context? Is what? -3. I see that multiplied. So this will give me what? 4 minus times minus plus 12, and that's 16. 16 is a perfect square. And the fact that you have gotten a perfect square would mean that you can factorize this expression. So don't waste our time by using formula method. I've found those students that if they allow me to set some of your Y theory or NECO theory, I will not make the question difficult. I will just look for the methods you run away from and insist that you follow those methods. All right, so this will now be what? X squared minus 2x minus 3 equal to 0. So sum of factors will be what? -2. This position is the sum of factor position. Product of factors, let's say x, will be multiplying the first term and the last term. That will be what? -3x squared. Now, what are the factors? The product of the factor being negative already suggests to me that one of the factor is negative and the other is what? Positive. The sum will suggest to me that the negative factor is greater than the positive factor. So I need to now look at -3. How do I break -3? I can break it to -3 and what? +1. X and what? X. So I will now put this in this place because the essence of looking for factors is to replace this number. That will be x squared minus 3x plus x minus 3 rather, being equal to what? 0. So I now have 4 things I can share evenly. X will go into x minus 3 plus 1. Where a factor does not exist, it becomes 1. X minus 3 equal to 0. So what does that give you? X minus 3 into x plus 1 equal to 0. And what do you have? X will be equal to 3 or -1. So that's it. That's how this question is being handled. That's question 23. And according to the exam, Your answer will be what? E. Answer will be E. And let's look at question 24. It says, evaluate ax squared plus bx plus c all over mx plus c. Now, what is a? A is 1, so that'll be 1 times. What is x squared? What is x? X is -2 plus what is b? B is 3. What is x? -2 plus what is c? C is 4 all over what is n? 1 into what is x? -2 plus what is c? 4. So this will give me what? -2 squared is 4 times 1, 4 minus 6 plus 4 all over -2 plus 4. I really advise students, rearrange your work. Rearrangement helps to give you clarity. So this will be 4 plus 4 minus 6 over 4 minus 2, which will give you 8 minus 6 divided by 2, which will be 2 over 2, and that is 1. All right, so that settles that. That will settle that answer for 24, and that option would have been C, right? So we have yet another one in 25. In 25, we are told y squared minus 6y minus 7. Here, your sum of factors will be -6y, and your product of factors will be equal to what? -7y squared, by multiplying the first and the last 10. So, what are the factors? The negative here only suggests that the one factor is negative and one is what? Positive. The -6 tells me that the negative factor is bigger than the positive factor. So what do I do? Essentially, I will then look at 7, -7. What can I multiply? -7 itself is a prime number. So the only thing it can multiply is 1. So common sense, -7 and 1. And this will be what? Y, comma, this will be plus what? Y. So with that said, I can now finish up this problem. So that will be y squared minus 7y plus y minus 7, which will be y into y minus 7 plus 1, where there are no other factors, minus 7. And that will give me what? Y minus 7 into y plus 1. And that takes care of that problem. All right, that was a nice observation that A actually is 2. So back to that question, if A is 2, so we just do an alteration to that. This will now become what? 8, is that not? This becomes what? 8. This becomes what? 12. This becomes what? 6. And this becomes what? 3. All right, so the final answer becomes what? 3. So that would be what? B. Very good observation. Okay, so that's very correct. So let's take note of that observation, right? Question 26 is also testing your knowledge of logical reasoning. I think I've done some extensive videos on this, but I have not uploaded them. So as I solve problems, I see some things. I say, okay, well, maybe I'll upload them shortly. I have lots of videos which I handled in the course of the COVID period. So I'm still looking at some of them, which one is relevant per time, and in time, I will start uploading them. Now, look at your question 26. Let P state that Uma is brilliant. So let's write that P, Uma is brilliant. And Q, Uma is hardworking. Now, which of the following symbol Which of the following symbolic forms represent the statement, Uma is brilliant and Uma is brilliant and hardworking? So that will be B and. This is how we write and in logical reasoning, Q. So the answer will be what? B. 27. Given that x over y is equal to 2 over 3, evaluate what? 2x plus y over what? 2x minus y. I've seen students do some. There are two ways you can actually solve this. Two ways you can actually solve this. Now, if I say x over y is equal to 2, it means x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3. If you do that, you are correct. You're very, very, very correct. So with that, you're going to have 2 into 2 plus 3 all over what? 2 into 2 minus 3. I hope I got that right. So that will give me 4 plus 3 over 4 minus 1. And that will give me what? 7. Minus 3, sorry about that. 7 over 1, which implies that the answer is what? 7. So the answer will be what? A. When I teach, when I handle algebraic fractions, there's another approach I'm going to use to solve this. Maybe we should use that. Maybe we should test that. And I have 2x plus y over 2x minus y. This will mean I divide each of the components by y. So this will give me 2 into x over y plus 1 over 2 into x over y minus 1. What does this give me? This will give me 2 into what? 2 over 3 minus 1 over what? 2 into what? 2 over 3 minus 1. Are we seeing that? So what does this give me? This will give me 4 over 3 minus 1 over what? 4 over 3 minus 1. What was that? Plus, sorry about that. So what do you have? This will give me 4 plus 3 over 3 all over what? 4 minus 1 over 4 minus 3 over 3. These two will cancel themselves, and you're going to have 7 over 1, and that is 7. So this is another way to use this, to solve this. But please be careful, because this idea, you will need this idea in algebraic fractions. So that's why when I teach students, you need to know when to apply a particular technique. You need to be very conversant with that. Not all techniques you learn work in a particular setup. That's one. Then two, you also need to understand that in any exam setup, your objective is to solve the questions correctly and in good time. Very important. You must solve the question in good time. Don't waste time to solve a question that you can solve in. You don't solve a question in 5 seconds and you're spending up to 1 minute. No, you've stretched the time, and that might not pan out well for you in the end. Right, so that's that for 27. Let's look at 28. In 28, you have 2 into 3x minus 4 over 3 minus 3 into 2x minus 3 over 4. So what do you do in this setup? For me, you can choose to expand these ones up first. No problem. So this will give me 6x minus 8 over 3 minus 3 minus minus. Please, when you're opening the bracket, be careful with this negative sign. Don't use it yet. So just use this 3 to multiply this. This will be what? 6x minus what? 9 over 4. Don't use this negative yet. Take LCM of 3, and that will be 12. 4 into 6x minus 8 minus 3 into 6x minus 9. What do you have next? You can now open the bracket. This will now give you 24x minus 32. Now you can use this negative. Negative 18x plus 27 all over 12. So sometimes we talk about arranging things. About that. So this will give me what? 24 minus 18 will give me what? 6x. I hope I'm right with that. Negative 32 plus 27 will give me negative 5. And that will be what? Over 12. So if we've done it right, our answer will be what? C. Our answer will be C if we've done that question right. Okay, so that's for 28. We have 2 more questions to go. Let's look at 29. In question 29, we are told that for what values of x is the fraction x squared minus x minus 6 over 3 into x minus 4 equal to 0. Equal to 0. Now, if an expression or an equation or an algebraic fraction is equal to 0, the rule here says equate numerators. As if from what we're treating undefined. For undefined, you equate denominators. But for defined or equal to 0, you equate numerators. So this will be x squared minus x minus 6 equal to 0. So I go with my technique again, sum of factors, negative x, product of factors, negative 6x squared. My factors, because this product is negative, one will be negative and one will be positive. Now take a look at this. Because this is negative, the negative will be greater than the positive. Now something else I need to consider, look at the magnitude of the difference, it's very small. So this will likely be what? 3x and what? Negative 2x. I think I have extensive tutorials on this aspect of maths where I am taking pains to break this thing down. This idea is here. You can actually spend close to a month just digesting them. But if you digest them, you will see how fast you will go, because it requires you seeing these things quickly and then you run. And with practice, I think the others will be a walkover for you. So this will be what? X squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6 equal to 0. So what do you have here? This will be x into x minus 3 plus 2 into x minus 3 equal to 0, meaning that x minus 3 will go into x plus 2 equal to 0. So x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0, meaning that x is equal to 3 or negative 2. All right, so with that, that answer would be B. The answer will be B. So let's take on our last question for today's installment. And for the last question, which is question 30, find the equation of a straight line passing through the points 3, 6 and negative 4, 8. So the first thing you need to do here is to look for the slope. And what is slope? M, which is equal to slope, or let's say slope, or gradient. Let's use gradient because a lot of us are used to gradient. Gradient, which is equal to M, is equal to what? Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So what is Y2? I'm going to take this as Y2, Y1, X1, X2. So this will be what? 8 minus 6 over negative 4 minus 3. So what does this give you? This will give you 2 over negative 7, which will be negative 2/7. Are we seeing that? So that takes care of that. Now, with that well stated, the next thing you want to do is to say, now, this is your slope. You can now use this in any of the equation. Now, the slope m is equal to x minus x1 over, sorry, y minus y1 over x minus x1. So with what I have here, minus 2/7, I can then equate it to any one of them. That will be y minus 6 all over x minus 3. So this will now give me -2 into x minus 3 equal to 7 into y minus 6. Open up -2x plus 6 equal to 7y minus 42. So what's this one? It means that 7y minus 42 will be equal to -2x plus 6. What I've done is to rewrite. So 7y minus 42 is equal to what? -2x plus 6. So let's see that. So this will mean that, let's see how the equation was set up, which will mean that 7y plus 2x will be equal to 6 plus 42. So that means 7y plus 2x will be equal to 48. Now, we will need to check how the answers are placed here. You discover that your option has this and is correct. So the answer to that question will be what? D. Okay, so that's the size of the scope we're going to cover, or the scope we're going to cover today for these questions. We've taken our time to go little by little. We trust that in our next class, we'll take another 15 questions, and in the next one, we'll take another 15 questions, and perhaps we'll be able to make good progress on our work. So thanks for your patience, and we trust that you will keep up the interest, and more importantly, you do your practice. All right. So Mamu Wijabi signing out.